Welcome to Blinkers Off with your hosts, Jared Welch and Aaron Halterman.
What is up? What is up? I'm Jared Welch, Aaron Halterman, and this is Blinkers Off. Hey, buddy, it is December now. We are officially, it's funny to say it's December and we're officially in like Kentucky Derby season, but it kind of is that way with a couple of races aiming up. Obviously, this weekend we have the Cigar Mile as well. So kind of feel we've kind of been teasing it. It feels like racing is, Oaklawn's back. Like it feels like racing's back a little bit.
Yeah, after that Breeders' Cup, you kind of do get through the lulls of November where there isn't a whole lot going on. There's a whole lot going on now, it feels like. We had a pretty good holiday weekend, a lot of exciting racing going on there, and then boom, right into the biggies at the Big A, right? Big races coming up here with the Cigar Mile and the Rimson, a race that had the horse, the 3-year-old of the year in it last year in Sierra Leone, and had Dornock, who obviously went on to win the Belmont and the Haskell. So pretty good race last year. Don't know if it's going to be like that this year or not. We'll see.
Yeah, you got the 3-year-old of the year, the Classic winner, and the Belmont win. I mean, shit, talk about a productive race. The Rimson, which is a race that a lot of years is one that you kind of say, well, forget about that one. Obviously, neither one won the Derby, but it had big time years. But yeah, we okay. So my mic not on.
Yeah, your mic is not on. We can hear you, but you're in a glass container, I believe.
Okay, please hold, please. So we have the same mics, and they both do the exact same thing. So hang on, you can vamp.
Yeah, it was when I was talking to you off air, I was like, I don't know, and then you really got to talk. I was like, yeah, definitely not. So we get to do that there. But yeah, what you were saying is kind of the deal. We've got a lot going on all of a sudden. And this is always kind of the fun time of year, the speculation on Derby horses, whether it be a horse that just broke its maiden or whether it be one of the established ones. They're all going to get together. They're all going to meet soon at all these different tracks. The best thing about the Kentucky Derby for me is the lead up and all the races that lead to that. And like I said, the Rimson kind of the first step there, real step on the NYRA circuit.
Is it back? Are we good?
Yeah, you got it.
Yep. Back. All right. Yeah, it's definitely. I'll be honest. Like last week, just with Thanksgiving and everything, it was just like, all right, let's get through this week, and then let's get focused on next week because, Oak with the 2-year-old racing, they're already kicking off. It's always weird to me to have Oaklawn back so early, but it makes sense because I mean it is cold here actually right now. But a lot of times down at Oaklawn, the weather's really nice this time of the year. And then you get into like February is when, January, February is when it just gets brutal and you have cancellations and all that shit. So it does make a lot of sense. We've been saying it for a long time that they need to start early and it's just, but for the same reason, I don't know about you. It is still like every time it comes up, it sneaks up on me. I'm like, damn, Oaklawn's here.
I think this is the 5th year of it and I still can't get used to it. Yeah, it's really strange. And I can't get used to their new schedule at all. I'm just completely thrown off. Like the Rebel being in February is just so weird to me.
Yeah,
it's strange. I can't get used to it. Like newer people to the game are probably like, what are they talking about? But if you were used to that Oaklawn schedule, it never changed. Everything was always at the same time, same weekend. It's throwing me for a big loop. But yeah, like when we sit here tomorrow, they'll already ran the first race at Oaklawn on December 6th, and that's just strange.
I know, and there's probably no way to do it, but part of me, like, I love that it starts earlier. I'll be honest, I hate that the Rebel is in February. Like, I don't know why. It doesn't really, I mean, maybe it's just because we've been used to it for so long, but I just can't get used to that. It's weird. It's like that should be the Southwest, February Southwest. Smarty Jones is January, Rebel's March, it's just kind of the way it all, I don't know to me that it's made any impact on like, the spacing it makes more sense now or anything. I thought it was great the way it was, but you guess you take the good, the bad, I guess.
Yeah, I love the extended schedule, especially after the Arkansas Derby running all the way to the Kentucky Derby. They have some really good races. That's really good weather, but you're right. The Derby prep schedule itself, that's my only thing that I'm just like, the Rebels a March race, even if it's just the first weekend in March, Don't give it to me in February. I don't want that. And I think I was just looking at this year. It's like February 22nd. I'm like, no, that's not.
That's Southwest. I mean,
exactly.
That's the Southwest.
Yes. Exactly.
I mean, I just have so many, because like the Rebel for us was always like before even the racing dudes existed. The Rebel was kind of like our guys' trip, sort of like we'd get a group of guys. That was the first time we went, it was down on the road like together. And then like for years, like it was just kind of was that like we're going to the Rebel this year, we're going back, and so you have I don't know, you have all these memories of it. Plus you have like, oh, March Madness is going on the exact same time. St. Patrick's Day is likely going to be falling in that same week. So it's like all these things kind of corresponding to that weekend. It just throwing me off. Like, oh wait, now it's in February. I don't like that.
Nope. But like I said, it is nice that they're running longer. That's been very good. I like that. But look, at the end of the day, I think everything with the spacing of the races, they had to move that Arkansas Derby back a little bit, and it's because used to the Arkansas Derby was like the latest prep, basically, other than the Lexington, or they ran it on the same day as the Lexington sometimes, and it'd be the only game in town. Where now, like Arkansas Derby, Florida Derby's on the same day, and that makes for some weird, timing as well. So it is what it is. I'm glad Oaklawn's going to be back tomorrow. These cards are always fun, whether it's December or April. Oaklawn's always got good racing. So we do know that.
All right, let's get into it because we got a big show here. And again, it's nice to have back because we do have racing kind of across the country to talk about. We are going to focus on and give picks for Saturday's Cigar Mile Handicap at Aqueduct. But then we're also going to give rapid fire selections for some of the Saturdays and Friday and Saturdays, I should say, racing. Obviously, the Advent at Oaklawn, the Remsen on Saturday at Aqueduct Demoiselle, which is for the fillies. You got the Starlet over out there at Los Alamitos. So we got kind of across the board races that are very good as well with horses that we need to focus on. So we're going to look at that, and then maybe the part that a lot of the fans, us included, are most excited about, the Racing Dudes Triple Crown Fantasy League is returning next. When is the draft? Is it 2 weeks?
Yeah, the draft will be 2 weeks from today. Yeah, okay. December 19th we'll draft.
So we have 11 teams, and we are going to apparently this is one of the nice things about it. I don't have to run it. So apparently the dictator right here has told me that we are going to announce the order of the draft today on the show. So stay tuned for that. The Wheel of Death makes a return. Love the Wheel of Death. So let's get to it, guys. Let's go. And you know what? That made my day because I honestly forgot about it. And then when I hopped on here on the live or when we were getting ready, I was like, oh, it's back.
It's back. It'll never leave. The Wheel of Death is a thing that's staying. There's no doubt about it.
It's funny. Halterman always used like auto generator, which essentially is what this is. It's just dressed up. But I found this last year and I was like, dude, you got to like use this instead. And he's like, whatever. Like, don't. And he saw it. He's like, oh, this is amazing.
You sent it to me. I'm like, yeah, I'll look at that next February. And then I thought, oh, I'll just open it to see. And it's like, oh no, that's legit. So
it's just everyone loves a wheel, right? It doesn't matter what it's for.
That's the thing. Yeah. Everybody loves a wheel.
The Office episode where they just start spinning the wheel. It's like no one's really done any of the chores, but everyone's having more fun. So.
When you said that, that one was on like literally 2 days ago. I watched that one.
Last night I just watched the Moroccan Christmas, which is one of my favorites.
Yes. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Your horn can pierce the sky. Pathetic. All right, guys, let's head to Aqueduct on Saturday. That's right, race number 9, the Cigar Mile Handicap. It is grade 2 worth $500,000 going 1 mile for 3-year-olds and up. You got a field of 11 lined up here and kind of across the board, options. Mulligan at 3-1, 9-2 on Lock, 7-2 on Post Time, 6-1 on Senior Buscador. Bookham Dano sitting there at 4-1. What do you think of? This is it doesn't have like the heavy hitters in it necessarily, but it's got quality. Like there's depth here, and there's certainly horses in here that can run.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really good running of the race this year. I think it's better than last year. You've got horses that have coming out of the Breeders' Cup. That's always kind of fun when you look at, a Mulligan or Senior Buscador Post Time, a couple others. So that's fun. You've got a horse like Locked in the 7 who was at one time a big time Derby prospect, never could really get him to the racetrack, finally got him back last time out, and he looked really good in a race where he should have looked really good. But anyway, you got him in here to add to it. And then you got Bookham Dano, who's kind of just been around all these 3-year-old races throughout the career or throughout the season sprinting. So I thought this was the best we've had in a while in this race. These horses look pretty sharp to me.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of times this race, you might have one that's like kind of a big sort of quote unquote big horse, and then the rest is just kind of garbage, and this one feels like, I mean, you look at this race and you, like you said, you got a lot of like reasons necessary, to pick a horse, right? Whether like a horse is cutting back or whether the horse is coming back off the layoff and looks good, or like you said, like has been running in tougher races, and this, whatever it is, like there are, Senior Buscador, can he finally get to the winner's circle, back to the winner's circle after winning that Saudi Cup, and running in all of these huge races that, just hasn't quite gotten the job done, and honestly hasn't looked great since that Saudi Cup. And so you kind of wonder what he is. But yeah, even Post Time, a horse that I thought was very interesting here. A horse that damn near won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Full Serrano did win that race, but Post Time was almost 8-1, ran a huge race, came into that race, finishing third in the Whitney to Arthur's Ride, got second in the Met Mile. I mean, a horse like it just ran all season, all summer in these quality races. Never really broke through. I mean, yeah, I did in like the Carter and the Polynesian or whatever, but like hasn't broke through to that big time race. Could do it here.
Oh, Post Time. Yeah, it's certainly one that's got a big time chance. Don't love the post draw for Post Time. That's kind of the only negative for him. But like you said it best. He's just been really consistent in similar races to this. The horse I ended up circling back to over and over was the number 5 Mulligan, though. Really good post. Love that Flavian Pratt comes into ride. And really, you look at the last 3 races when this horse jumped up to Stakes Company here as a 4-year-old. He won the John Neward, and it was a pretty good race. The Forgo was the best race of his career. He just looked fantastic. I went back and watched the Breeders' Cup Sprint. I thought this horse ran pretty darn well. He's usually one that likes to be, maybe if not on the lead, towards the front for sure. He's shuffled back. He's an 8th. He's 4 or 5 lengths off, where he's usually, if anything, he's in the lead or at least one behind. He came running and he had a pretty nice run at it. And I think 6 furlongs is probably not his best. He hasn't been a mile, but he's ran very well at 7 furlongs, which makes me think a mile will be better for him than the 6 furlongs last time out. I'm pretty excited to see what he does. I think his talent level has always been really high, and now I think they've kind of got him figured out as far as how to keep him at that level.
Yeah, talk about a horse that has just, as a 4-year-old, came back and just, I mean, it's like he just is a different horse than he was as a 3-year-old. I mean, kind of inconsistent as a 3-year-old, and then as a 4-year-old, I mean, damn, I mean, the first loss was that the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and like you said, definitely didn't disappoint himself by any means. I wonder about the price. I know the odds just did come out with that 3-1. Got to think that horse, I would assume, will be bet pretty hard. But I think this is interesting. That's an interesting aspect of this race too, because while you don't have the big time names, but you do have like quality, whether it be horses or slash trainers, like Locke, for instance, being a Todd Pletcher horse. Velasquez riding a horse, came off of that layoff and looked awesome. Like that horse should take money. Senior Buscador always takes money and should probably here just because of what his back class looks like. And then Bookham Dano, another one that, will take money as well. So it's going to be interesting. I think you're going to get a fair price on about anybody you want. Now, Mulligan might get bet down to say 2-1 or something, 5-2, but I still think the horse is playable.
Yeah, I think Mulligan is a little bit scary as far as the odds go, but I do think with Locked in the race, Senior Buscador, who was second here last year, probably has the most class. Well, not probably, does have the most class.
Yeah.
And Post Time, I think, and Bookham Dano, who we didn't even mention there. I think it tends to say that these morning lines will probably stick close to where they are. I really don't think Mulligan will go down lower than about 5-2. And if he does, then you start to get a little bit like, yeah, I'm not sure. Because the one thing about it, say Mulligan is 8-5, it becomes a lot harder to play him because really nobody should be 8-5 in this field.
Well, you mentioned the horse. We didn't mention him much. I will mention him because that's my pick. Number 1, Bookham Dano. I've always liked this horse, and really since that day in the Woody Stevens, when I backed him and we were there, I was like, yeah, I like this horse.
Yeah.
You always like a horse better when it wins you money, but
Yeah.
rattled off. I'm gonna assume the Saudi Derby was a triple-digit buyer. Obviously, because it's horse racing, we don't do that with the international races, but.
Right.
Rattled off, say 4 in a row. The Perryville last out gets finished, lost by a neck, which was maybe the worst performance of the year for him. But like the Woody Stevens was awesome. I mean, he hasn't really ran a bad race. The Saudi Derby, who did he lose to? Well, he lost to Forever Young.
Mm-hmm.
Bookham Dano is just one of those horses that runs his race every time. Finished 3rd to domestic product in the Jerkins. He's gonna give you the run. Now he's at 2 races at Aqueduct. He's won 1, got 2nd once. At the distance, again, I mentioned that Saudi Derby was at a mile, and then the National was a mile as well, and got 2nd in both of those starts, but ran well. So likes Aqueduct. I'm not worried about the distance. You're getting a fair price. I gotta think the horse is going to run. I love that Irad Ortiz as well gets back aboard.
Yeah, I do love that Irad's back aboard. I can't argue with anything you said about his class and just how he shows up. And anybody that argues that's crazy because he's 10 for 10 hitting the board with 6 wins out of those 10. So, I did not play him to win the race. I did think he's one to use, though. I'm with you on that. I think at the end of the day, this is a little bit tougher than what he's been facing. And I know he faced Forever Young, but that was kind of a race where that kind of set up more for him than it did for Forever Young. I'm just afraid, beating, or running with horses like Domestic Product and Prince of Monaco. Maybe these horses are a little better than them, and maybe that's going to lead to him, maybe not just being quite good enough.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly, obviously, look at, like you said, I mean, he's hit the board every race, so it's like definitely from like a perspective of, hey, who can you count on to give you that run? It's probably him, right? Like you can trust it. He's going to give you that effort. Is he good enough? We'll find out. Like you said, there are some nice horses in here, but I think the pace will set up well for this horse as well. I do think there's some horses in here that can run, certainly on the front end. So if he can get the distance, which I think he can, I like him to pick him up late. Anyone else in here at a big price, or anyone that you looked at that took like a horse like Pipeline who's coming off a nice win? Any of those horses like that interest you?
Yeah, the big price, not as much in this one. I think the odds are set kind of fairly, kind of how I see it. The biggest price that I like is Senior Buscador, who's 6-1, and may not be that. He finished 2nd and ran a winning race here last year. He's coming off the Breeders' Cup Classic. But as far as like somebody in the double digits, I really don't like anybody. I guess the number 6 Law Professor would be my answer of the double-digit horses. He's 15-1. He's back with Rob Atras. He got a win and allowance last time out off the layoff. 2nd off the layoff, he might run better. We've seen him run well at a mile. To me, if you're looking for a long shot, that Law Professor, the 6 horse, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he got 7 starts at Aqueduct, 5 of them wins. The other 2 were 2nd and 3rd, 3 for 6 at the distance. So certainly a horse that checks a lot of marks. If you are looking for that horse, could kind of maybe even if it's not the win, but if you're looking for a horse to throw in your try or whatever, that could juice it up when you do have a lot of horses that are seemingly are going to be low odds in that try. All right, so your final pick is who?
I'm going to go number 5, Mulligan on top.
All right, Mulligan on top for Halterman. Give me number 1, Bookham Dano, to win on Saturday in the Cigar.
I think the most exciting winner of that race would be Locked.
Yeah, that's a horse that obviously had a lot of like hope
Mm-hmm.
at one time, and then didn't got hurt, and we kept thinking this horse was going to come back, and finally did. End of October, mid of October, I guess, and looked awesome. So yeah, that would be a horse that you certainly could get excited for. Really well bred.
Yeah.
Won the charity. Got lost in Muth and fierceness in the juvenile. Had like I think that horse was drafted in the first round last year in our league.
Yeah.
And then just never obviously came back until recently. So yeah,
Yeah.
it could be any of those gun runner horses as well. Like always get better as they age, and so this is a horse you would think could have a really good 4-year-old year.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, he looked awesome. He won by 7.5 on his return.
Yeah, he did it really, really easy too. So, which I mean, again, he Gunnett was second, so he should have, but he did. So
Well, it's like I always say, and you say, is just like, okay, yeah, I get it. He beat Gunnett, like that's not anything to write home about. But he also beat him by 7.5 under wraps, and so, how did you want him to win by 20?
Yeah.
So it's just like he did what he was supposed to do.
Yep.
All right, time for Rapid Fire presented by Twinspires. That's right. Head on over to twinspires.com. Use promo code DUDES, that's DUDES, and get that 100% up to 100% deposit match on your first deposit. Again, if you go to twinspires.com, enter promo code DUDES, and get that match that first deposit up to 100%. All right, let's look at Friday. So we're going to go back a day here, December 6th. And we're going to head to Oaklawn for the first time for the 2024-2025 season. So that's exciting. Race number 9 is the Advent Stakes. And, it's like they're all named after Christmas shit. But anyways, $150,000, 5.5 furlongs for 2-year-olds. Field of 6 lined up here. And yes, you are seeing the same horse you probably saw last week. And that's number 5, Innovator, for Dwayne Lucas, coming off that really nice performance at Churchill Downs to Barnes. The Bob Baffert horse, who I think he closed at 13-1 on the future wager, which is the head horse, is the leading horse.
Yeah.
For the 2-year-olds, by the way, other than the all other horses. So Innovator runs a week ago, and where does he go? He shows up here. What are you doing with this one?
There's so many funny things you ran through there, and it's so true. So the Oaklawn, their expanded meet, all of these races the next 3 weeks are named after Christmas. It's like, okay. and then the races they add on later are like the Oaklawn Mile, the Oaklawn Invitational, the Bathhouse Row. It's like, wow, you guys didn't put a whole lot of thought into that. But so we always laugh. And then the other funny thing is Innovator wheeling back 9 days as a maiden in a stakes. I mean, it is really incredible. Here's the deal. If you believe in that number, then he'll win, because no matter what number you look at, that number that he ran and lost to Barnes, that's the fastest as anybody else in this race by far. Just on time form alone, yeah, he got a 108 time form for that. The next best time form is a 99. And that was got on the turf. So the next best dirt time form is a 95. Well, that is a massive standout, right? So if you think that's a real number, if you think he'll run back to that number, Innovator is a single. If
Easy.
you think he can't because it's 9 days, you're probably gonna have some money to be made here, because Innovator is gonna get bad off that race.
Well, let's look forget the race. Just why? I know it's, and I think Dwayne is obviously the part that kind of makes you go, well, do I really trust that? But at the same time, what other reason is there? I mean, it's not like this is a $500,000 race or something. It's like some grade 2 or grade 1, grade 2. I mean, this is the well, that's the aforementioned Advent Stakes for $150,000. Not exactly a race that you're aiming for. No. And so what? I mean, the horse has to be doing so well that he wants to run him again. Like that to me, there's no other reason. Or he lost his mind. That could be another reason.
Well, he's still doing really well as far as placing, like winning a lot of races. So I don't think he's lost it.
Oh, by the way, the horse that beat him, which was not like by a mile, it was by a head, who had the lead until the very, very. I mean, this horse, Innovator, had the lead until the very, very end. Oh, is the horse that's, like I just mentioned, is leading for the Kentucky Derby Future Wager, trained by Bob Baffert. So, like, you have that aspect as well.
Yeah. A lot of times when you see a horse wheel back, they will run pretty well. And then it's the next start where they don't run well. So I kind of think he'll wheel back and get the victory here. I kind of think Innovator will beat him. The other thing is it could have been a situation where this was very light on entries. And what'll happen sometimes, just a little behind the scenes of what'll happen, if there's a stakes race and like say 5 horses in her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Oaklawn doesn't want to ride a stakes with 5 horses. So what they'll do is they'll call around to the barns that they know have horses that could run. And they'll say, do you have anything? Do you have anything for us? Can you do us a solid? That's what happens. Could have been a situation where it only drew 3 or 4 horses and they called around and they got to D Wayne and he said, hold on, who's in it? And they listed and they go, yeah, throw him in there. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, we can get a win. So that could have happened. At the end of the day, though, I do think if he runs back to that race, they won't beat him. So I think Innovator's going to win this one. Long term, I don't know what that'll do to him. I think Lucas also looks at it and says, well, he's had 3 months off before that last race. So maybe we can get away with running him twice because we gave him a little break. I don't know. But look, he was very good in that last race. So hopefully he can do it again.
Yeah, damn near won the race. So it is. By the way, I'm glad that Lord Farquhar just, because I honestly was gonna have to say, like, are we not seeing the, like, that's the first chat. I don't think we've ever had a show where we've not had. I honestly thought something was wrong with it.
Yeah, I thought people were just not watching today, which would have been. I get it.
Well, I mean, we have a decent amount of people in here watching, so that was like that's what I was scratching my head about. But anyways, yeah, I think Innovator for me as well. I just, like, even if the horse was coming off like a 4-week layoff or whatever, like a normal layoff, I would be betting this horse, no doubt. But the fact that and D Wayne especially, like, we've talked about this a lot, or I've talked about this a lot. It's like when he, like, there's certain times to back him and certain times when you kind of can see the riding a little bit. Like, I don't know. When they're good, right? And then when they're bad, they kind of tend to fall off a little bit. And to me, this is a sign of, hey, like, the horse is still doing very well. We're going to run him back, right? And so to me, I think Innovator is a horse that you probably should single here. So give me Innovator. All right, let's head back to Aqueduct on Saturday, and then a couple of races earlier from that Cigar Mile we just talked about. Race number 7. This is the Rimson Stakes, grade 2. We're $250K going to mile 8 for 2-year-olds, and it is a Kentucky Derby prep race. 10, 5, 3, 2, 1 for your top 5 finishers. And a field of 7 is lined up here, and you got 6-5 on Keewadin and 9-2 on Studley Do Right. You got 3-1 on Tux, who looked really good. Poster at 5-1. Aviator Goo 6-1. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, but what do you think?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Keewadin. I like this horse. If you remember, he debuted in that really tough Saratoga maiden special weight on Travers Day. Won by Tip Top Thomas, came back to finish second in the Champagne. Second place horse Rookie Card has come back to win. Fourth place horse Sovereignty came back to win the Street Sense last time out. So big fan of Keewadin. I think it's a really good spot for him to stretch out for the first time. I think he'll be tough. He would finish third in that Saratoga Travers Day maiden race, and then came back to just look really, really strong in a maiden right here at Aqueduct Belmont at the Big A. So big fan of the 5. I put Keewadin on top. I do like the number 3 Poster in second, and may put him on a ticket. Haven't decided yet because Poster gets Flavian Pratt. I thought that was interesting. Horse has been on the turf 2 times and with 2 easy wins, but now faces the dirt. We'll see if he can handle it. That's the only question mark. But it should be noted, Flavian Pratt rode Keewadin on debut. Now, he didn't last time out. Dylan Davis rode him last time out. But still, could Pratt have gotten the mount on the 5? Maybe. He's instead on the 3. So I think that's interesting enough to like the 3 as well.
Yeah, and you said everything I was going to say, because I did go to the 3 Poster on top. And really all for the reasons you just laid out. I do like the 5 Q8 a lot, and obviously, like if that's the thing, like if Pratt was riding the 5, I would just kind of say, all right, well,
Same.
lock that up, single, see you later. But it's weird, right? Because I mean, no offense to Dylan Davis, but if you have the option between Pratt and Dylan Davis and it's Chad Brown, you're taking Pratt every single time. And not to mention Poster, I mean, you don't have the, for Hardy, like there's no connection there with Pratt, you know what I mean? So it's like, and he's never ridden the horse before. So the one thing I can think of is the only like logic, like as far as like, he didn't think that he was going to be able to ride, and then he did. It can't, something like that. That there's something bigger behind the scenes, because if that's just as plain as simple as like, well, Dylan Davis rode Cuban last time, we're going to keep him there. It's like, I don't know. It's Flavian Pratt. So that being said, and also just forget the jockey situation. I mean, those 2 races by Poster were very impressive on the turf. It is that season of like, hey, now let's try the dirt, because it is like now's the time to try kind of thing, as it relates to the Kentucky Derby. But like those races were so professionally done. Like he looked good. Like by all means, if the horse is like the goods, you may keep him on the turf. And so I like that they're switching it up, and you picked up a horse. I mean, it's Godolphin owned as well. So I like the fact that you're making all these moves. And by the way, you picked up Flavian Pratt. So give me Poster. I'll be playing everything around the 3 and the 5 though.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. I'm glad you picked him. I think the number 1 Tux is the other kind of logical one, but yeah, yep. I think it's between the 3 and the 5.
Tux is interesting big time as well. That's a really nice debut. Again, stretching out to a mile and 1/8 is always a tricky thing in this Rimson, right? It's just always that. We always talk about it, or I bitch about it, where it's like, okay, we run the mile and 1/8 in December, and then we go to a mile in whenever it is, January or February. It's like, okay, that makes no sense, but that's what we're doing. And so it's always tricky to see what these horses have done, because like Tux, for instance, 6.5 furlongs. Poster has been running a mile. Kiwadin ran at 7 furlongs. You just don't know. Like going from 7 furlongs to a mile and 1/8 is no easy task, and so you just don't know, and that creates a little bit of a dilemma when it comes to like, oh, I'm singling the 5. Well, the 5 may be really, really good, maybe singleable at 7 furlongs. You just don't know at a mile and 1/8.
Yep. And that's always going to be the question mark. And Poster does have, like I said, those 2 turn races, so it'll help.
Yeah, and in Instagram, the sire for Kiwadin, not necessarily a long distance horse, Yep. And whereas Poster, Munnings has just been a hell of a sire, and you got Tappet on the dam side, and so to me, there's enough there to where I feel more confident as far as versus those 2 versus going long, but still, I think that adds a little bit of intrigue as well.
No question. I think neither one of them are exactly bred perfectly for the distance, but that, I always say it doesn't really matter until it does, right? Like horses can outrun the pedigree, but I don't look at either one and go, oh, slam dunk, they'll get this mile and 1/8.
All right, let's head to the next race here. Race number 8, the Demoiselle Stakes, Grade 2, 250K, 1 1/8 miles for the fillies this time. So same exact race, but for the fillies, 2-year-olds. And again, this is an Oaks prep race, 10, 5, 3, 2, 1 for your top 5 finishers. Field of 10 lines up here, and boy, I'm excited for this one. I'm excited. I number 1, Muhima is just a horse that in fact, the day she ran, I texted you. I said it was a Breeders' Cup day, I believe. And I texted you. I was like, have you seen this one? You're like, yeah, this is, and I was like, this feels like the horse right now. Brad Cox, Flo, 4 to 5. I mean, are you going everything through this one?
How about another Munnings by a Tappet mare horse in Muhima, just like Poster in the last race? How weird is that, right?
You'll see that back to back ever.
Yeah, I know. It's very strange. But yes, this horse, that debut on September 20th, I remember watching it and going, okay, she's really good. And like you said, that allowance on November 1st, just as good, just totally, left him behind. And honestly, like I like Liam in the dust a little bit. And that was a horse that ran second to Muhima and was not competitive, got beat 5.5. So I've got to go Muhima here. I think she's just really, really a solid horse and a very exciting horse as we move forward. I will mention the 2 does have a pretty darn good pedigree, Liam in the Dust, to go longer, but we don't know it yet. We haven't really seen it yet. And then the first time starter last time out for Bill Mott, Beauty Reigns the 8. That's an interesting horse as well. Another really nice pedigree, but as of right now, I think Muhima is way the one to beat in this race.
Yeah, this is go watch this horse. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like a almost white, really light gray at the moment horse, and just really, I mean, eye popping, Shadwell stable colors. The moment you saw that stretch run, you're like, okay, this is a horse that's got a big future.
yeah.
So yeah, give me the 1 Muhima. I like her. As soon as I saw her in the entry box, I was like, all right, well, you're gonna have to really do hard. It's gonna be hard to talk me out of this one. So.
Well, she certainly was one after that November race. It's like, okay, what stakes will she pop up in?
Yeah,
that's going to happen. And then when I'm with you, I didn't know, and I looked at the entries. I said, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like that's probably about as good as any where to point her. So,
what do you like? I mean, do you think this is? I mean, it's too early, obviously, to tell, but this has the feeling of a horse, like that Brad Cox horse that you're going to see maybe, run, whether it be like fairgrounds maybe, or maybe even go to Oaklawn, but definitely seems like a horse that you're going to see in all the big stakes races between now and May.
It's going to be very interesting to see what he does because he has Immersive, obviously the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner. He has Good Cheer that's been fantastic there at Churchill Downs. Won last weekend at Churchill Downs, the Goldenrod, and then assuming this horse does what we think she might. That's probably 3 fillies better than anything we've seen so far. So you got Oaklawn, you got Fairgrounds, and then when Keeneland opens, you got that. But where he sends them is it's up in the air. I have really no idea, but that's a nice problem I have. That would almost be like a Baffert situation where he's got too many in one division. Let's say she wins by 2 or 3. Whatever. Who's the best one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you know what? It's almost like you're professional because you've set it up perfectly as we head to the Starlet on Saturday. And the Grade 2 Starlet Race 8, Los Alamitos, 200K, going to mile 16th. You've got this is a Breeders' Cup. Kentucky Oaks Prep Race 10-5-3-2-1. Guess what? They all can get points because Bob Baffert has 3 of the horses in here. Oh, and by the way, he's won this race not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, or not 6, but 7 times in a row. He's going for 8. 8 in a row. He's trying to win this thing, and he's got 3 of the 7 in the field. So you asked a question, kind of like Brad Cox, like, hey, which one's the best? Well, which one is the best Baffert here?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like any of them that much, but you kind of feel like you got to pick one of them, right?
Yeah.
so which one are we picking?
That's how I was. I was like, I don't like really. I'm not crazy about any of them, but at the same time, when you win 7 of these in a row,
yeah,
it's hard. You kind of keep doing it until it kicks you out, right?
Yeah, I put number 5 Tenma on top. Don't love it. Hate this race. Hate Los Al, to be completely honest. But not to be all friendly right now. But I put Tenma on top. Didn't run very well last time out at Santa Anita. Hopefully we'll bounce back from that. The 2 races before that were pretty good. So beat Vodka with a Twist 2 races back. Vodka with a Twist is in this race, number 1, and number 2 came back and ran second last time out in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. So obviously a nice horse. I think Tenma gets the best of them. So give me Tenma in this one.
Yeah, and that's the other thing with this field. It's like, well, like this horse is, when it comes to the Baffert horses, you're like, all right, well, Nooney 2 back beat Tenma, and then Tenma beat Nooney the race before that, and also beat Vodka with the Twist, and it's like they all kind of knocking each other out a little bit. And when I look at Tenma, that was the only one where I was like, 2 races before the Oakleaf, the horse looked awesome, and really that it's lost by 10. Non-compliant obviously was really good that day, but it's like it's almost too bad to believe. You know what I mean? To believe, and so when that happens, I tend to kind of. I feel like with Nooney, it's like, okay, she's just not as good as we thought she was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think also like Hernandez is on this one, and that's kind of his go-to guy out there. When you got 3 of them, look where Hernandez is on, and that's kind of where I ran, But it is interesting that Nooney is the favorite on the morning line, but probably just because it is that name.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of Nooney one way or another. Maybe put her on a ticket. She might take him gate to wire, that kind of thing.
If there wasn't any Bob Baffert hadn't won this race in a couple of years and whatever, is it Practical Dream or Vodka with a Twist that you'd lean towards?
I guess Vodka with a Twist. I've never really loved that horse, but I do think she's probably the one. If Baffert doesn't win, I think it's Vodka with a Twist or Aunt Mo. That'd be my second one.
Okay.
The numbers are kind of small, but are low, I should say. But that last race was pretty decent, and maybe she can sneak away from him. But no, Vodka with a Twist is the one, I think, if Baffert doesn't win.
God, man, I tell you what, I know it's like Bob Baffert, so it's like it's kind of like Patrick Mahomes when it's in the Chiefs, and it's like, well, they look like shit, but it is Patrick, and they'll probably find a way to win. And it's like but this, it's like I don't like any of these horses, especially when you compare like to the race we just talked about, with the Cox horses and the Cox horse that won, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, man, they're gonna have to really raise their game to compete. Having said that, it's Bob Baffert, and so it's like you can't really count him out when it comes to these horses. But probably, at least on paper, it feels like he's going to be heavier with the Colts and the Phillies.
That's what right now. I would definitely agree with that. If that's what he's got to offer us, well, he got non-compliant. I don't know what happened to her, but these horses, they're not great.
No. All right, we are both going number 5, Tenma for Bob Baffert, looking to get his 8th Starlet in a row victory. That's insane.
That is insane.
It's like, are they even trying now? Like I feel like you look at who's won that race, you're just like, wow. Like he just has brought anybody over there to win that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. There haven't been like superstars that have been winning it.
No. All right. Are you ready to get this thing going?
Let's do it. Should I pull it up?
Here, I'll get it for you.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Oh, take off our thing. There we go.
All right, a tradition like no other. The Racing Dude Triple Crown Fantasy League is back. Well, it's almost back. What year is this, Halterman, officially? Do you know?
Oh, gosh. It's been a long time. I think.
I mean, if you go all the way back to when you and I did it, just you and I mean, you're talking back. I always remember Farrell because I had Farrell on the fantasy team, which, it was. But I think we did it before that too, right?
Yeah, I think this is year 12.
Golly. All right. So we've done this many, many years. Let's say that. And I think I did actually write at one of the, I'll have to look. I'll go back and look. I think I wrote like 12th annual or something. I'll look, but while you do it. But we are back. If you guys aren't aware, I'll let Halterman take it away here and kind of get everyone up to date what's going on.
Yeah, so every year, it's usually the third Thursday in December, we do a fantasy league draft. Basically, we have 11 teams. We draft, each team drafts 5 2-year-olds that are getting ready to turn 3-year-olds, and they all earn points towards the Kentucky Derby. And obviously, the Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and the Belmont, that's where you can earn the most. But the major prep races, you can earn a lot of points for them as well. So it's a horse racing fantasy league. Each year, we try to add a couple of people to get more and more people involved. We got teams now instead of just individuals. So it's a lot of people now involved. And so, yeah, we're doing the draft draw position here. So I've got the Wheel of Death. I'm just going to spin it. You're going to actually, what I'm going to do first is have Jared say a number between 1 and 11. He'll say the number, then I'll spin it. And whoever draws or whoever it lands on gets that number of draft position. So we'll explain more about the rules and everything on draft night. Draft night's going to be December 19th on Thursday, December 19th. So you can tune in for that. We do this show because it kind of gives you a preview of 55 horses that are competing for that right to run in the Kentucky Derby. We could do a show and just talk one by one about 55 horses, or we could do it this way. And we prefer to do it this way. It's a little bit more fun to do it. So that's why we do it. And are you ready to draw? That's the question.
This is a lot of pressure.
Yes.
By the way, this is the 12th last year was the 11th annual. I looked it up on the podcast that we did last year. That was so that this will be the 12th annual Racing Dudes Fantasy League. As you can see here as well, we do have a few new additions, myself included. I've always gone solo in the fantasy league, but I did add. I don't think Kevin's in the chat. I would love to have my teammate Kevin B, as everyone knows him in the chat, is on the team. We've kind of messed around over the years, joking like, hey, like could use some help or whatever. Well, he's officially on the team. And then I see Vinny and Dennis have a team together now, huh? So that's a doozy of a team right there.
Yes, the dream team of Vinny and Dennis. They've paired up. I think they're very excited. So Dennis Trusty, who's in the chat, he's will be partners with Vinny. And then Kevin B, he's the man, and he's going to be with you. So two really, really solid teams. Now, the one thing I'll say, the double Ds, that is Miranda and Dr. Tang. Dr. Tang's the only person I haven't heard back from yet, so that could change to just Miranda if I don't hear from Doc. So
looking at this, it's kind of turning into a team sport here. You only have 3 of these teams: yourself, Free Beers, Paul, and guys that are solo here. So you might. What you might do is want to combine 2 of these, and then maybe one of the other ones add one more team. We could just have a bunch of doubles.
That's the goal. I think that I don't really want to add more teams because it gets hard to draft. As you go through this, it's harder and harder to find horses, right? So I think eventually we'll all be paired up.
If you guys, like, say you and Free Beers combined, now you're down to 10 teams, and then just find a partner for guys. So now you got a 10-team league with 2 in every team.
Yeah. I don't think Free Beers wants a partner.
Well, we could. Well, do we know for sure that? Doesn't he have his wife is really the lead of that team, right?
She wants to be a silent partner, I've heard.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. All right, let's do this. I don't want to give you one yet because that will take all the fun.
Yeah.
Let's do right in the middle. Let's do 6.
All right, number 6. Here we go. Oh, the suspense. The suspense. Who will be number 6? It's not me. It could be you.
No, keep going.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, no, it's not. All right.
Vinny and Dennis. 6 wouldn't be a bad spot either, though.
Vinny and Dennis will draft number 6. Hold on. I got to write these down as we go here. Vinny and Dennis. Okay. So that settles number 6. I'll go ahead and take their name out. Now, pick another number.
Let's go 3.
Number 3. Here we go. I hope you pick 11 and then you draw yourself. That'd be hilarious. You may get 3.
This is why you did it, just to mess with me. You're welcome, Magic Mike.
All right, Magic Mike show.
That's
number 3.
That's who I wish would have gotten 11.
I know. Magic Mike, number 3. Okay, next.
Let's not do 11 yet because you know how like the derby draw, like it's always like you got the one hole and then you got like the 13 or whatever you want. It's perfect. Okay, so we're gonna play that out a little bit.
Okay,
let's go 9.
9.
Yeah.
All right, number 9.
I feel like we need music.
That would be nice. Uh-oh. Double D's.
Oh. Ouch.
Number 9.
You hate to see it.
I hate to see it. That's good. You've done pretty good so far. The Magic Mike thing I can forgive, but because they're not really a threat, so it doesn't matter. All right. So 8 remain.
Let's see. Hang on, I'm putting on the chat here. Who was that?
Okay.
Who was that?
Double D's, number 9.
Number 9, double D's. All right. So we got 3, 9, and 6 out of the way. Let's go 5.
5. Here we go. Number 5.
Number 5.
By the way, that's Gunrunner in the middle, right?
Yep.
Oh no. Oh, well, that's not a bad spot.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. We could. Listen, definitely could do worse. Jared and Kevin with the 5th.
Jared and Kevin, number 5. I think that's actually a pretty good draw.
Yeah, I mean, look, like who are you actually taking number one? At this point, it's kind of tough to do. And even like say if it's Barnes, like I mean, we don't know, right? You have no idea what he's going to turn into.
That's right.
I think the 5 is you kind of can filter through some of them, and you're not forced to like make a pick, right? That happens a lot of years when you're at the 1 or 2 spot. You're like, well, I got to take one of these, right?
Yep.
That's my excuse because I never get the 1 or 2. So
yeah, well, 5 is kind of that. Hey, I didn't have another option. I had to take horse X, and there's no pressure, right? So.
Exactly. Yeah, unless you take a filly. All right.
Yes,
let's go number. Let's go number 8.
Number 8. Number 8.
The pressure is limiting, Halterman. You're out there still.
Oh,
Maybe not anymore. Well, no, that was going to go to Geist.
It's going to be the defending champion, Geist. Geist will be number 8.
The 8 hole. All right.
Defending champion, Geist. All right. Let me delete this. Okay.
So we got what's still out there? 2.
We have 1, 2, 4, 7,
All right.
10, 11.
7.
7. Oh, lucky number 7. Here we go. Who's got it? Who's getting lucky? Who's getting lucky?
Who's it going to be? Number 7.
I think it's uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Sorry,
Stop.
buddy.
Stop.
Sorry.
Stop.
Stop.
Stop. All right.
Oh, you got
There
it.
we
You're
go.
good. You're good. Wow. I really thought it was going to hit you, man.
Woo.
Dan
All right.
and Austin. All right.
All right.
Oh, Halterman. Boy, you're in that camp right now. It could be really bad. It could be really good for you.
Yep. I know. A lot of people that take this very serious are left, actually.
I know. Look at that. John. I mean, of course, like John and Ryan are still out there. You know what I mean? Like we know, like you might as well just forget they're getting in the 1 spot.
So 1, 2, 4, 10, 11. That's what's left for the 5 left here.
1, 2, 4, and 11.
Mm-hmm.
Who got 10? Did we already do 10?
No. 1, 2, 4, 10, 11's left.
All right. Let's do 10.
All right. Number 10. Here we go. This is going to be a bad draw for one of these 5 left. Let's see. I don't think it's me. Oh no. Kelby.
Sorry, Kelby.
Mm.
Kelby and Evil Stevel.
Not the best.
No.
All right. Kelby, Evil Stevel, number 10.
Number 10. All right. Number 4, right? Is still available?
Mm-hmm.
Do number 4. That would leave us down to 1, 2, and 11.
Yep. So number 4. We'll see. Number 4.
Oh, baby. All right.
Oh,
this
boy.
is you. Nope.
Oh,
dude. This is just brutal. Scotty. Number 4. Not bad. I feel like they're always right before me. All right.
Yeah, it seems like they're always in a decent little spot there. So Shoddy and Davey, number 4. There's 3 left. The 1, the 2, and the 11. So there's going to be 2 happy people and 1 that's not. I know it's going to be me at the 11. But.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, you know what I'm going to pick. Number 2. We got to leave 1 and 11 out there.
All right. I love that you've done it this way. All right. Number 2. Here we go.
Okay. I mean, no matter who gets it, like you want the 1, but this would be a great pick. No matter what, this is a great spot. Of course. I mean, mark them down for 1 or 2 every year.
You knew they were going to get 1 or 2.
Now, this is honestly though, this is my favorite last 2 though, because you got you and Free Bears who take this religiously seriously, and one of you are going to be the 1 pick, and one of you are going to be the last pick. I also
already
am
know
not convinced that you didn't rig this, by the way. So
well, first of all, there's no way I could. I mean, what? You could have said anything, and I really wanted to be the 2 or the 4 because I did not want the 11. So
well, all right. I think what's the best way to do this? I mean, I think is the pressure of not getting the 11 worse, or the pressure of wanting the 1 spot better? Which one is the best?
I think it's about equal.
All right. I mean, everyone loves good news. So let's do, this is for the number 1 pick.
All right.
I think that makes more sense. So number 1, is a 50-50 split here. One of you is going to get the 1 spot. Yeah. And whoever doesn't get this is getting the automatic 11.
Yes. Now, to be clear, I've had the 1 time, the whole time. and I drafted Independence Hall, who was horrible. So even if I get the 1, it's not the greatest. And
Listen,
also, if you're the 1 in the first round, you're the 11 in the next round. So it's a long time before you get another horse. So
yeah, it honestly, I think I've never had the 1. I feel like I had like the 3 or 4, and it sucks, honestly, because you have to wait so long before you have to hit those when you're back to back or whatever. You got to hit those and make sure you do hit them well, or else you are in trouble.
Yep. All right.
1. Number 1. Who's it going to be? Free Beers Paul or Mr. Aaron Halterman himself? It's going to be Halterman.
Yes.
It's going to be Halterman. Wow. This is bullshit, by the way. Halterman and number 11, Free Beers.
Oh man,
dude.
I feel very relieved.
Wow. You know what? Hey, that was in his defense, that is 1,000% random. So, so there you go. Halterman, number 1. Pressure that you're on the clock.
I did not create the wheel. That's the thing.
I know.
That's
I mean, listen. Wait till the people get it. Wait till the people hear this.
Oh, they're gonna be mad.
They're gonna be some up. The chat group is not gonna be happy. No. Wow.
Here, I'll send this right now to John and Ryan, and we'll get their reaction as we go here.
Well, I guarantee you they'll instantly give us some feedback. So
yeah. Well, the cream has risen to the top. I'm 1, John and Ryan 2, Magic Mike Show 3. Good Lord.
Jody and Davey 4. I'm 5. I don't know past that.
Oh yeah, I should read it out. I'm 1, John and Ryan 2, Magic Mike Show 3, Shoddy and Davey 4, you and Kevin 5, Vinny and Dennis will be 6, Dan and Austin will be 7, Geist 8, Double D's 9, Kelby and Evil Steve will 10, and 11 is Free Beers.
There you go.
Yep. There you go.
Shocking results.
Yep. Shocking results for sure.
I mean, honestly, I don't know how many years John and Ryan have been in the league, but I feel like they've got to be hitting the 90 percentile, getting the 1 or 2 pick. It's like clockwork.
I know, because they're my pets.
Yeah. Well, all right. There you go.
Yeah.
So Halterman will have a post out, I'm sure, this week or at some point with the draft order, so people can kind of keep up to date with that. And then again, the draft is not next week; it's the week after. Correct?
Right. Yeah. December 19th will be the draft. So I'll send out the league-wide email as soon as this show's over, and then people have. I mean, who knows? I may not draft at 1. I may trade. So we'll see what happens there. But anyway, you can start trading and stuff like that. Yeah. So I will definitely send that out as soon as we're done here, so the new people have got an idea. But yeah, it should be fun. December 19th. It's always a fun night, really fun night. And definitely Paul wants to know if you believe Good Cheer will be available at 11 for Paul.
No,
because you're taking him.
But he could also. I might. Listen. Kevin and I are everything. He knows what he's getting into. Everything's on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Where did Paul finish last year?
Let's
Can I talk shit to him?
Let's see what the final finish. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't remember what the final finish was.
But I have it all. I have it all saved, but I don't have it like with me. Hold on here. Here we go. Paul was.
I beat Paul. I remember I beat him by like a point or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to look. You were 4th.
Yeah, I feel like he was talking shit because I barely beat him.
Yeah, he was. No, he beat you. He was 3rd.
Oh, damn it. All right, never mind.
Yeah.
I was going to talk shit because, I drafted Philly and still beat him. But, hey, I drafted a Philly and finished 4th. So, hey.
Yeah. So Geist was the winner. Kelby and Evil 2nd. Paul 3rd. You 4th. Vinny 5th. Dan and Michael 6th. Double D 7th. Magic Mike Show 8th. Shoddy Davey 9th. Me 10th. John and Ryan 11th.
Yeah, I think, honestly, guys, out of all this, like, it's exciting. And on paper, it looks great. But, man, the pressure's on Halterman big time right now because, like you said, the one time he maybe had the worst draft pick first-round draft pick of all time.
What
It
year
happened to
was
be the
that?
number 1 pick.
What year
And
was that?
I don't know if Independence Hall ever, like, did he ever even get close to winning after that?
No, he won the Jerome, and then that was nothing else. Yeah, I can't remember what year that was, but yeah, it was bad. That's the only year I've had it. Like, listen, my team last year at the end, this is at the very end of the season, Speakeasy, Merritt, Antiquarian, Winstock, and Houday. Not exactly a great team. As a matter of fact, I finished with -8 points last year. So I was the New York Giants of the fantasy league last year.
Well,
No,
you can only
John
go
and
up
Ryan
from there,
was.
right?
I was like the Panthers.
You can only go up from there.
Pretty much. Like 10th out of 11 was pretty bad. For a game that you invented, that's pretty bad.
Well, you got like after that season, obviously kind of deservingly so. You do have the number 1 pick if you did like the reverse order of last year. So here we are. The shitty team is now in the first spot. What will they do? Will they get the superstar quarterback, or will they go some random offensive lineman?
We'll see what happens. I can't. I think I'm going to trade it. Honestly, I think I'm going to trade it.
Kevin, we finished 4th last year. You're joining a team that is used to winning. We win a lot and we do well, and we struggle. But last year I had the worst good team of all time. Like, I didn't think any of the horses were very good, but yeah, I was picking up points because I was running like 4-horse fields.
Yeah.
But yeah, so listen, anything top 5 is what we shoot for, because I think that gets your money back.
I just got confirmation Doc Tang is in. So it will be Tang and Miranda. They will be a team.
There you go.
So there you have it.
This league used to have a lot of more pressure of not finishing last than anything, because we used it only lasted a couple years because I ran off somebody who I think has never been the same again. Because if you got last, you got a penalty. The first place person got to pick the penalty for the last place, and I don't know if Dan's ever been right after that.
No, I was thinking somebody else hasn't been right after that. Not Dan. I think Dan's been fine.
Well, shit, that's true too. That was almost like I didn't even choose that one. That was he was already off before that.
Was that the beginning of the end of Saratoga Slim? I think so.
I think it was. Yeah. Little did we know at the time that Borat was going to do that, but
yeah,
it did. So
yeah,
that was the greatest. I mean, one of the most fun times I've ever had, but you could do it 30 for 30 on that day as well. So
well, that's the thing. That was the peak of Saratoga Slim, and then he died. So now he's dad rap, and I don't know.
No, we'll never know. All right,
let's get off the air.
Yeah, let's get off the air before we say something we shouldn't. All right, that's all the time we have, guys. Check us out at racingnews.com for our free picks and those premium selections on the products page. Click the Get Racing News Premium button at the menu at racingnews.com to learn more. Make sure you go check out the best bets page. We will have the Malibu betting Bible coming out, obviously, in a few weeks. Then we'll have the Pegasus coming up as well. Racing Dudes are on Twitter at racing_dudes, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can find all episodes of Blinkers Off by visiting our podcast page on the website at racingdudes.com. Go to Apple Podcasts, any place you listen to, we are on there. Go to YouTube and search Racing Dudes. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notification button, because we will have a lot of content headed your way. Dudes Who Bet Sports was on earlier talking about this weekend's college football and NFL. And then, of course, the Magic My Show will be on in an hour, right? Or are they on now? I don't remember.
They are not on this week. I have just been informed.
Never mind. Okay.
Magic has moved, and he has so much unpacking to do that he cannot do a show this week. So,
did he move to like a mansion or something after his?
He said it's weird. You tell me what this means.
Okay.
He said he always has to wear like a white coat when he's there, it doesn't have any buttons or anything, like a straitjacket.
When he's where? Oh. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And he said he only gets to see his wife and kid like once a week. It's weird. It's a weird
that
place.
Makes sense. Yeah. Was it just him that moved? So
apparently he wouldn't confirm or deny, but I think yes. I think he moved, has to wear a white coat with no kind of devices that could harm you, and he sees his family once a week on Sundays from 1 to 2.
He must have he's got the visits are he's got to have supervisors visits though. So
yeah, I don't know. It's a weird kind of thing. He didn't elaborate, but yeah, he's moving and unpacking. So
all right, so
he's out. Yeah,
lots to unpack there as well. So but
correct.
hey, listen, so that's it. By the way, first I'll ask you. We won't get into we'll end the show, but go watch. I haven't even watched it yet. Go watch YouTube Bet Sports because is there ever been? I mean, again, it's the first year doing it as far as the expanded playoffs, but is there ever like this? You can't ask for a better year to kick this thing off. Like last week was insane. Like every rivalry, there are fights and one had pepper spray involved, and just like any day, any week, the number one team, the two, whatever, it can go down. It's insane. These teams are so evenly matched that this playoff is going to be as close. Because I always thought the tournament thing would be fun for football, but it's like, are you really going to get that many upsets? This year feels like you very much can.
Mm-hmm.
Like Indiana could win it all or something like that,
Yeah, I mean it's a crazy wide open year. I think my dad's absolutely right. He said it on the show. He's like, we have no standout quarterbacks, and so that kind of brings everybody together, and then you have no real standout defense either, and so it's just kind of a mishmash. And the teams that are 6-5 can rise up and beat that team that's heading to the playoff because the talent's just closer together than it's ever been. So, it's the best year to start with it. There's some years where it's very clear there's two teams that are the best and they would just roll through it. That's just not the case right now.
Kevin does not like you, so I don't know.
Well, Kevin's problem is more deep rooted than Papa Dude and I. He's a Giants fan.
Well, yeah.
Every week it's like, well, here's the terrible Giants. Let's pick against them again and make money. And it for some reason it upsets him. And
for some reason it works every week. So I mean,
yeah. And then you look up on Sunday, it's like, oh, they were right again. But next week, no.
It's so Giants too. By the way, that you guys think it was a good idea to trade away the best player you've had in 50 years or something. And not only that, he goes to your rivals, and not only that, he's in the MVP candidate. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be hard to be a Giants fan right now, or ever, really. So,
I think it would be the worst feeling in the history of your life if you rooted for the Giants.
It wouldn't be. It's not as bad, but it would almost be like. It's not. It's like say if Patrick Mahomes was to play for the Raiders and then just started kicking the crap out of it. It's like that's a pretty bad example because it's like obviously we've had success with him prior. Because that's the thing, Saquon, they had no success with Saquon, even though he was
hurt
there.
A lot and yeah.
But okay, I'm sorry, Kevin. I'll stop because you are on my team now. So, but listen, it's true. Like it's tough. Like, and I don't know where you go from here. I mean, I know they fired the GM and maybe things will start to, I don't know, but it's like every week. And then Danny Dimes is gone, which that's gotta hurt.
I mean, the truth hurts. And that's just, it is what it is. Look, we all have teams that don't do well. I've got one right now, but you don't have to blindly defend. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, listen, acceptance is the first part of like getting through the difficulties in your life.
As well-rounded as Kevin is, and we all know, one of the most well-rounded individuals we've ever met.
Just right? Unbelievable person. Yes.
Just out of this world.
I wake up every day hoping to be somewhat like Kevin.
I think about him every day. Yeah, in that regard. Sure.
That's weird. Okay.
But he has some areas where he's deficient, and I think this is one of them.
Well, if you ask his wife, there's a couple of them. But anyways, wow. You set it up. You popped it up there, and I just had to hit it out of the park. That's what I had to do. Kevin, again, sorry. We are teammates. So
that's your teammate.
I know we shouldn't. But listen, when you tee one up for me, what am I supposed to do with that? You set it up.
I did. Yep. I did. Yep.
I am on.
Did he join mine? Listen, do you want to join mine? You can join mine, Kevin.
Well, yeah, you do have the number 1 pick over there, but
yeah, if you want to jump over, if you want to enter the transfer portal and come over to this side, I'll take you. There's no NIL money though. You probably have to pay me. Actually,
I will fight you for Kevin.
Yeah,
I will fight you.
I'm not going to fight for him.
But listen, I own him now, so if you want him, you got to give me some points.
Well, I don't know if we're going to go into this, but I'm not doing that. I don't know that you own him per se, but
that's another poorly choice word. But okay,
yeah.
I don't.
Time to go.
Yep. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for us. Again, make sure you go check out the dudes who bet sports and apparently terrorists that they are to see what their takes are on this weekend football, NFL, and college football. Again, this weekend we've got big racing. The fantasy draft will be in 2 weeks. So more, if you really like, again, all joking aside, there's no better list anywhere in the country for the top 55 2-year-olds / turning 3-year-olds as it heads into the Kentucky Derby than what we will compile. Because again, what we talked about earlier, you've got 16 certain people with their minds, everyone together, 17 different people constructing the top 55 essentially. Mm-hmm. And so it really is a great way to just kind of get ready for the 3-year-old season. Mm-hmm. And so we'll be doing that and not next week, but the week after. All right. Okay. Maybe we'll see. We'll see if we're still on the air. All right, guys, until next time, I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Good luck this weekend. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Blinkers Off. Join our horse racing community at racingdudes.com and follow us on Twitter at @racing_dudes. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.